Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Revolution Mindset Session 1. We had our planning session last week, and today we are going to be looking at how we can draft revolution statements. If you are tuned in, let me know. Let me know where you're tuned in from. If you do have any questions whilst we go through this, please let me know. So this is just a quick 20-minute live talking about revolution statements. Then following this, we have our Putting It Into Practice workshop where we're going to get together on Zoom in our Coaching Minds Hub, and we are going to start to put the work in to make sure we have our revolution statements drafted. So if you're tuned in, please say hi. I'm going to put that across the bottom of the ticker so you can see if you want to join the practical workshop, you can join us at https://hub.coachingminds.co.uk. Don't miss out on the workshop. Hey Priya, it's good to see you here. Thank you so much for being here. Adele, it's wonderful to see you. Jane, thank you so much for being here. It's absolutely great. So before we jump in, I want you guys to tell me, what is it that you want to achieve in 2023? Tell me some of your resolutions. Tell me some of your goals. Tell me how you want to feel through 2023. Tell me what is it that you want to do in 2023. Let me know in the comments box below. What do you guys want to achieve? How do you want to feel? What's your resolutions? Facebook user, hello, it's great to see you here. If you are tuned in through Facebook, if you're in Wisdom Creators or through our page, and you want your name to appear in the comments, you'll just have to click the link that's just above and allow StreamYard the permission. So whoever you are, welcome, or you can write your name in the comments so I know who I'm welcoming, but it's good to see you here. Thank you so much. So give me some resolutions, give me some ideas of what you want to achieve this year, and I'm just going to give you an overview of what we're going to cover in this quick fire live session. So in this session, we are going to be looking at how we can trade our resolution for a revolution. We're going to be looking at giving aim to our desires, and we're going to be looking at drafting a revolution statement. And I'm just going to go onto this page where we start to look at the key lessons from last week. So our key learning from our planning session is we don't struggle to find time. What we actually do is we struggle to prioritize. So if we're asking ourselves and telling ourselves that we don't have time, it means that we don't know how to prioritize. We struggle to prioritize. And I'm seeing this a lot recently. People are struggling to prioritize what's important. They're distracted by certain things, and we need to really start to ask ourselves, what is it that is really important right now? How can I start to prioritize? How can I, if this is important to me, how can I find the time? And what should be important is investing in yourself, putting the time and work into you, your goals, what it is you want to achieve, so you can become a better version of yourselves. So how do you start to prioritize that? And this is one reason why this revolution mindset was set up, so you can schedule a time, whether you join us live, whether you watch the replays, but if you schedule that time each week and start to learn and show up for yourself, I'm here to help you put everything into practice so you have something to take away to help you succeed in 2023. Adele Jacobs has shared that to be more organized, improve on my technical skills, I want to accomplish intentions and feel growth. I like the depth that you've got in there to share that, Adele. And we're going to be talking about this when we start to look at resolution to revolution. We're going to look at how we can change that and make it more powerful. So Jane says, one of my 2023 resolutions is to slow down and create more time to take care of self. That's wonderful. It's great that you're looking to do that, Jane. It's a really powerful thing to do. Priya says, taking care of my well-being and further my education here in the US. That's wonderful. I'm looking forward to seeing where that goes. Lots of questions are coming up for me when I'm starting to ask about what it is you're sharing with me, which means there's room that we can do there to start to define something, change that resolution to a revolution, and make it a bit more powerful, a bit more stronger. Facebook user saying, live life with intention. Very, very broad, very general. What do you mean by living life with intention? What is that intention, and how are you going to live by it? So this moves me nicely on to our first point of today, which is moving from resolution to revolution. Okay, and we have this phase where every new year we want to set resolutions, whether we want to stop smoking, whether we want to go back to the gym, whether we want to work more on ourselves, whether we want to get that promotion on our career, whether we want to further our education, whether we want to live with intention, whether we want to get more organized. We tend to set these as resolutions. And what are resolutions? So resolutions in short is just a firm decision. We are basically telling ourselves we're going to do something or we're not going to do something. But what does that actually mean? When we say we're going to stop smoking, how are we going to stop smoking? When we say that we're going to live life with intention, how are we going to do that? What does it mean? How are we going to further our education in the US? How are we going to get more organized? We forget to build on this to make something a bit more firm and a bit more structured. Resolution is also throwaway comments. It's things that we'd like to do, but we don't give any energy or any meaningful, conscious decision making to it to enable us to actually follow it through. To say that we want to be more organized, what does it mean? It's just a throwaway comment. What's stopping you from getting organized today? How much time do you need in order to get organized? When you're furthering your education, how much time do you need to set aside? What's your action behind that resolution? Resolutions are generally short without meaning. So when we say that we want to do this, we want to achieve that, I could sit here and say, I want to deliver this revolution program, this revolution mindset program. But what does that mean? What do I have to do? What do I have to commit myself to in order to deliver this and turn up every week and making sure that I don't fall short? What do I need to do to put in a bit more meaning? And finally, it's a new year trend. Resolutions only come around at the beginning of January or the end of the new year, end of December, when people are thinking about a new year, a new me. But that's another throwaway comment. What does that mean? What does a new you look like? First of all, what does the current you look like that you need to change? When we make resolutions and we go through the process, we don't take enough time to really think about and go through the reflective process to making sure that we're setting the correct intentions for the year ahead. So I'm going to come back to the comments before I go into revolution. So nothing's come through. If you've got any questions, ask me, drop them in the comments box. I hope this is starting to make sense. Whilst you've got your resolutions and some stuff that's coming through is absolutely fantastic, we're going to look at how we can start to turn these into revolutions. And we're actually going to do the work in our 1 hour workshop at 6 p.m., which is in 20 minutes straight after this live. So if I finish on time, you should have a 10-minute break before we go into putting it into practice. So what is a revolution? How do we move from resolution to revolution? And I'm going to explain more about this in a second. So a revolution is a conscious decision to make a meaningful change. So there needs to be power. It's going through the process. It's taking out the time to really think about what we want, weeding out what our true desires to the desires that are what we'd like to have. We need to find out what it is we really want and why it's important. We need to, like I just mentioned, the second thing is we need to take that time to define. It's not just something we say, it's a process we go through. It's starting to look at how we want to feel, what we want to do, what we're going to feel if we achieve that. It's asking those important reflective questions to help us define something that has power. Resolution, when we make it, when you say, you want to go back to the gym, you want to quit smoking, you want to start your own business, it doesn't have any pull. It's kind of a little bit of a shove to get into action. But when we create a revolution statement, it gives us that pull to really want to succeed. But in order to get that pull, we need to take the time out to define it correctly. It has to be meaningful. So a revolution is meaningful. So whilst the resolution is short without meaning, revolution statements are generally longer and they have meaning behind them. We've asked those questions. Why is it important for us? How can we pull ourselves towards that? What is the meaning behind us setting that and not just a throwaway comment? And the last thing is the difference is it's written any time of the year. So you can pick up a statement, you can draft the revolution statement at any time of the year. We're going to look at the different types of revolution statements in a second, but it isn't just a New Year's trend. We can write these statements at any point when we feel like we're ready to make that conscious decision to make a meaningful change. So we have to have that power to really want that change and put in the work to make it. So there's nothing coming through at the minute. Is this all making sense? Are people starting to understand the difference between the resolution and the move to revolution? Drop a comment in the comments box and let me know. How are people feeling about the resolutions that they've shared or that they've wrote? Do they feel like they still could do a little bit more work on that to really pull something meaningful? Or maybe you guys just shared a resolution and kept it simple because I used the word resolution. Because if we start to look at revolution, there's different types. Okay, so revolution statements can take all different forms. It's not just these five, neither. There's other things out there. So a revolution statement can be a commitment or an affirmation statement. So that conscious decision to make change can just be a commitment that we make, a firm, strong commitment that's written in a statement with an affirmation behind it. So we're affirming that we're going to be doing this year. The second one, which you might or may not have heard of, if you're a fan of Simon Sinek, you followed his work, why statements, a statement of why we do what we do, and starting to go through that process and reflection to understand what our why statement is. Why are we setting this statement? Why are we wanting to achieve this? Why are we driven towards that passion or that purpose? The third is a mission statement, and all these are very different. And I'm not going to go into the detail of all these different ones. We are going to be looking at different ones. We're going to be looking at a mission and a vision statement later on in the program, how we can define these. And in the workshop today, we're just going to start off with a simple commitment and affirmation statements. That's what we're going to start off with today. But then we're going to use that to build and create our mission and vision statements. And our mission statements are something that we are setting ourselves out to achieve. A personal mission statement is something we want to achieve in our lifetime. And, we can make this mission statement a little bit, doable, but we can create a mission impossible, something that's really reached and stretches us, or we can make it something just the way in which we want to live and the lifestyle. You then have vision statements, which is more powerful. It's something we visualize, and generally a vision statement, we will never achieve it in our lives. When we look at vision statements, it's something we see in the future, and it's a constant moving target. We're going to talk about the difference between visions and goals later on, but that vision is constantly moving, it's constantly evolving as you evolve. So you never actually reach your vision. You'll reach your goals, which are your milestones on the way, but you'll never reach your vision. And the fifth one there is personal codes or personal standards or personal policies. There's lots of different ways for this, but it's a set of discipline that you set yourself, commitments you set yourself that you're going to do and not to do throughout the year. So it's kind of putting your resolutions in together into a list, into a firm list, but it's doing a bit more with these and setting out a personal code. So, for example, something that could go on your personal code is, I'm not going to use my phone between the hours of 9 p.m. and 9 a.m. I'm going to start a phone fast. That would be something that you stick to. It's a commitment that can go on your personal code. I'm going to act out of kindness with every interaction that I have. That's another something else that can put on your personal code or policy. It's a revolution statement because you're making that conscious decision to make a change, but you're starting to think of it a bit more than just a resolution. So how many people have a mission statement, a vision statement, a why statement, a commitment statement? Has anybody got anything more than a revolution at present for 2023? Adele is saying yes, because you can achieve an intention, for example, getting organized, improving skills in 3 months, which means for the rest of the year, you are stagnant. So do it in any time makes complete sense. Yep, you can. So it's something, that statement, when we write it, and we're going to talk about how we write this. I'm going to share a tool with you, how I write mine and how we're going to work through it in the workshop as well. But you're right, we can do it at any time and things can change. Because one thing we forget to think about whenever we're setting New Year's resolutions, goals, is what would happen, or what are we going to do, how are we going to act if we get hit with adversity, if we can't actually carry out that action. So, for example, let's say we commit to going to the gym 3 times a week. We've got a really good commitment statement there. Let's just say we can't go to the gym one week. Maybe cars broke down, you kind of get transport, or your normal route to there is inaccessible, or the gym's closed for some reason. What's your backup? What are you going to do instead? And how are you not going to let that affect you starting to pick that back up? Because what we tend to do is, if we miss it once, that's it, we give up. And then we'll start again next year. So how do we think about our backup plans if we can't actually step up and commit to it? Because life happens and there's times when we're not going to be able to show up, but how are we going to manage that? How do we think ahead? And we're going to talk about strategy planning and putting a strategy for your goals and your visions. We're starting off small here. We're going to evolve these 4 weeks from a commitment statement, from a resolution to a commitment statement today, all the way to having a strategy and a plan with a defined vision statement and goals, clear set goals for the year ahead. Jane is saying, My vision is to create awareness on the power of positive mindset shift globally. That's fantastic, Jane. That's really, really wonderful. I'm guessing you've gone through that process. When you write a vision statement, you bulk it out and then you start to strip it down so you have a powerful words. I really love that. And I've seen that on your Instagram as well. I really like that. And your mission is to live a balanced life and be a positive force in the lives of others. I love that. The power in those statements are absolutely fantastic. And I'm sure you can agree with me and share with me to get to that point where, and I'm sure that pulls you, your vision, your mission pulls you. But to get to there, you've gone through the process of actually consciously thinking about what you want to achieve, what your mission is, what your vision is, and you've put in the time. It's not something you just came up with like that. It's done through work and reflection. So thank you so much for sharing that, Jane. So how do we do it? So the next thing I want to cover today is giving aim to your desires. So I've used the word desire here because our resolution is a desire. How we want to feel in 2023 is a desire. Our goals are desires. Our visions are desires. Our missions, it's all desires. So I've stripped it down to a word that kind of caveats all of them. So AIM is a framework that I tend to use when I'm setting my commitment statements for the year, when I'm setting my goals, vision statements, everything I've just shared there. And it, first of all, is our statements need to be active. Our resolutions or whatever, they need to be active. Now, what does that mean? It means it needs to be actionable. There needs to be something we're going to do, something we're going to commit to, something we're going to, what verbs are we using there? It needs to be actionable and it needs to be an active resolution. It needs to be an active statement. And I'm going to give an example later on. The second one is intent. We need to have our intentions built into our confirmation statement, our commitment statement, our revolution statement, our affirmation statement, our vision statement, whatever it is we're writing, it needs to have intent. So this AIM framework goes into any statement that we're writing, but it needs to have our intention. And what we mean by that is moving from just wishful thinking to actually willful action. So we need to move and change that energy from being inert energy of wanting to actually writing something where we're going to be doing. So it's active, it needs to have active, it needs to have intent. And the last one, what do you think the M is? Meaning. It needs to have a meaning. What is it that connects us to this? This brings in that why. It brings in the importance of setting that statement. So if it's active, if it has intent, and it holds a lot of meaning, we are more likely to be pulled towards it so we can deliver and commit to what it is we want to achieve in 2023. So that's an easy and simplified framework. If you haven't watched me before, if you haven't followed some of the sessions that I've done, I really like to simplify things to the simplest way possible to help you understand, and you can build on it from there and add a little bit of your own creativity into it too. But we're going to be using the AIM framework today, and that's what we're going to be looking at when we go through the Put It Into Practice workshop as well. And the week challenge is, I want you to think about your activeness, your intent, and your meaningfulness, and I want you to add it to your resolutions. So the resolutions that you shared with me, or if you're watching this on the replay and you haven't shared them, you've got them written down, think about how you can make it active. Think about what intent you can put in there. So how do you make it from a desire to something you're going to do? And think about meaning, putting the meaning in there so you can start to really grab something that is going to pull you and you're going to be more likely to complete or reach during the year of 2023. So here's an example. So as I mentioned, a lot of resolutions are just throwaway comments. So in 2023, I'm going to get fit. What does that mean? What does getting fit mean? How are you going to get fit? Are you going to go running? Are you going to go to the gym? Are you going to take something online like beachbody.com? How are you going to get there? How many times a week are you going to work out? You know, what's the plan there? So they generally just throw away comments. The second one, this year I'm going back to the gym. Okay, but what does that mean? What are you going to be doing at the gym? What's your aim? What's your goal for going back to the gym? You know, what do you actually want to achieve out of it? It's kind of the meaningfulness is missing there. The third one, I'm going to be healthy this year. Okay, what does healthy look like? Why do you want to get healthy? Why is it important? What's your health like right now? Lots of things left unanswered. And if we don't go through that process of defining something clear and structured, and that pulls us, we're not likely to commit with these. So we'll find ourselves setting these same resolutions every year and not achieving them. So what's an example of a commitment statement, for example? So I'm just going to come to the comments before I share that, if anything's come here. Jen is saying, I love this. Thank you so much, Jen. I'm glad this is resonating with you. And there's a point, I've got the key point for today, which we're going to get to soon. But at the moment, I just want to share an example of what a commitment statement might look like. So it's going to add meaning, it's got activeness, and it's got intent in here. So this is just a basic example. And the reason why I'm using fitness here, it can be applied to absolutely any goal desire that you have for the year, whether it's relationship, whether it's business, career, finance, whatever area of life you're working in. Remember last week, we looked at our planning session, the wheel of life, and areas of life that we can work on. So think about those, and this can be applied. I've just used fitness because everybody has this goal to become more fit or get healthy or get more active. So here I put, in order to improve my life. So there's the importance there. I want to improve my life, and I understand the importance of taking care of my health. So I'm making a commitment there. I put the intent there to really take care of my health. And I therefore commit to attending the gym 3 times a week and ultimately improving my fitness. So that there, it tells me what I'm going to do. It has the intent behind it, and it has the meaning to why I want to do it. Now, there's other ways, and there's no right way. You don't have to follow the same structure. There's different ways in which you can write it. I'm going to be sharing more of my commitment statements so this isn't one of mine, this is just one I've created going through the framework, but I'm going to be sharing my personal ones in the workshop. So don't forget to attend the workshop in 10 minutes. So I'm going to have to blast through these last few sessions, but there is an example of a statement. And the key point that I want to leave today is that the process of creating the statement is actually more important than the statement itself. So the process of reflecting, consciously thinking about what our desires are, what's important to us, what we can prioritize, how we want to write it in a form that's going to pull us, the whole process of doing it is more important than the product that we get out of it at the end. Now, the product is also important because we need to go back to it, we need to read it, we need to have that pull. But when we go through that process, we become more committed. Because if we can't commit ourselves to actually sit down and think about what we're going to do over the year, how can we trust ourselves to actually commit ourselves to show up and do the work that needs to be done in order to achieve what we're setting out to achieve? And finally, it leaves me with 5 tips for drafting. So you've got the AIM framework, but think about these 5 things. So first of all, set yourself time aside to write your statements. If you're joining the workshop in 7 minutes, then you have that time to write your statement. If not, set yourself some time aside and undistracted. No distractions, no interruptions, focus. Write down a list of all your desires. So everything that you want from 2023, your goals, your feelings, what you want to do, your intentions, write it all down, and then start to weed out and start to pick your top 3 to 5 so you can start to build out and create some commitment statements. Think about what could stop you from achieving. As I mentioned, when we start to go through the process of just setting resolutions, we don't think about what could block us from achieving it. And if we find or encounter that block, how can we get over it? How can we overcome it so we don't lose momentum and it doesn't affect us so much that we don't achieve it? Ask the important question, why is this important to me? Why am I doing this? Why do I desire this? And then finally, write down what you would feel if you achieved it. Having those feelings of starting to understand and imagine how we will feel if we achieve the goal. What would it feel like to have a healthy body, to have that fitness and be able to run that 5K, 10K at a better time? How's it going to make us feel? The stronger we can feel how we want to feel, the more committed we will become to actually achieving it. So those are the 5 tips for drafting. And then I just want to mention today in 6 p.m. So in 5 minutes time, we're going to jump into the workshop, and this is going to be put into practice. So we're going to reflect on our desires, intentions. We're going to draft some revolution statements. We're going to share our examples, and we're going to look at further tips on how we can strengthen those statements. And that's 5 minutes. I'm going to put the link in the comments in a second. You can see it across the ticker banner at the bottom of the screen. It's hub.coachingminds.co.uk. Go to my coaching room and you will find me in there. And here is the next session. So I just want to give you an overview of the next session. So if you don't want to take part in the workshops, you're just here to watch the lives, then here's an update of what's coming. So week 2, we're going to look at mind hacking our goals. We're going to then look at developing a 2020 vision. We're going to look at creating a revolutionary strategy. So we're going to put strategy behind all this. And then week 5, we're going to look at setting healthy boundaries. So those are some weeks that are coming up that we're going to be talking about in terms of the lives. And finally, become a revolutionary. So join my coaching room, hub.coachingminds.co.uk. I just mentioned that. So you can check us out there. You can join the practical workshops in there every week and get access to the notes, to the tools, to the replays, to absolutely everything consolidated together, along with the weekly task and the weekly challenge. There's a lot of work, a lot of commitment, but it's putting everything into practice so you can achieve what you're setting out to achieve. And now I'm going to come back to the comments for the last 5 minutes just to answer any questions and bring anything that's come in from you guys. So understand I've blasted through a lot there in the space of 25 minutes, but it's important that we start to break things down, that we are starting to not just give throwaway comments of things that we desire, but actually putting in the work to really think about and make that conscious decision to make meaningful change. And that's how we do it, is through revolution statements. So does anybody have any questions for the last couple of minutes? I hope I've got you thinking about what you want to achieve and want you to go away and set that time to really write down and make your resolutions more powerful. So Priya saying thank you. Thank you so much for being here, Priya. Thank you so much, Jane, for the Facebook user. Thank you so much, Adele, for being here as well. I really appreciate you all tuning in and sharing your resolutions. And I hope this has been useful. And I hope you are thinking about how you can use it. Brenda Lees is saying, love the structure and content. Thank you so much, Brenda Lees. I appreciate that. And I look forward to seeing whoever's joining the workshop. I know a couple of you are already in the coaching room. So if you join the workshop, we're actually going to put it into practice. So I'm going to give you some time to go and grab yourselves a cup of tea. If you're watching the replay, pop it on pause, because I'm going to be consolidating the two together. So pop it on pause, grab yourself a cup of tea, then come back and get ready to put it into practice. Thank you, everybody. If you've got any questions, drop them in the comments box below, and I look forward to seeing you in just a couple of moments. Speak very, very soon.